Good morning and welcome everyone in the social science class. Today we are going to start our new lesson of history, and the name of the lesson is the Mughal Empire from 1526 to 1858. Here is the map of India, in which the white area on the map shown the Mughal Empire where they rule. Before starting this lesson, we must know the condition of India during the time of Babur attack. So in the first half of the 15th century witnessed political instability in the country with the disintegration of the Tughlaq dynasty. Both Sayyid and the Lodhi rulers failed to cope with the disruptive forces. The noble resented and rebelled. The political chores in the north, south, east, and the west had weakened the main power of the center. And Babur attacked early in 16th century, and at that time India was a very easy prey for any invader because it was divided into many number small states, and these small kingdoms were incapable of standing up to any foreign aggression. Delhi also lost its glory under the Ibrahim Lodi, and the local rulers were unpopular among the masses. So at that time, Babur attacked India and laid the foundation of the Mughal Empire. Here is the chart which show some popular Mughal Empire. First, Babur, who was the founder of Mughal Empire. Then Humayun, the son of Babur, who became the king of Delhi. Then Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. So now we will start with Babur. Babur, Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, is commonly known as Babur. He was the founder of the Mughal dynasty in India. He born on 14 February 1483, and he was the great grandson of the Timur, and he was also the descendant of the Genghis Khan through his mother's side. Babur was a brave soldier and an experienced general and a skilled horse rider. After becoming the ruler of Kabul, he conquered Ghazni and Samarkand, but his failure to bring Samarkand permanently under his control made him give up his ambition of expanding his empire in Central Asia. He had to head toward India. Babur was also attracted by the fabulous wealth of India. So Babur became the ruler of Hindustan by defeating the Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat in 1526. Babur victory entered the power of the Afghans and boosted his economic security and influence. He distributed his wealth to buy the confidence of the public and the Afghan chief who had opposed him. After defeating Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of the Panipat, Babur occupied Delhi and Agra. Now the Afghan nobles and the Rana Sanga turned against him. So, in order to have complete control over North India, Babur had to defeat Rajput as well. So the two sides meet at the Battle of Khanwa in 1527, where Rana Sanga was defeated. This defeat ended the power of the great warrior, the Rajput. Babur was not only a great military commander but also a learned scholar. He wrote Baburnama, which is also known as Tujke Babri in Turkish language, and later it translated into Persian by the order of the Emperor Akbar, are one of the most delightful books in the world. Babur was also the great lover of the nature, mountain, trees, flower, and the animals gave him immense joy. That is why He was always keen to make the gardens in all the places where he lived. He enjoyed playing polo, and the games became increasingly popular amongst the Indian noble. Babur died in 1530, and his body was carried to Kabul and buried there. And after Babur, his son Humayun ascended the throne. The newly founded kingdom was attacked by the Afghan nobles who still wanted the Mughal to leave India. Babur faced many difficulties to retain the Mughal Empire in India. Babur had gifted separated provinces to his other three sons. The army was combination of the people from different countries and languages group. Humayun had inherited an empty treasury, and he had to face the opposition from his brother, relatives, Afghan and Rajput. And he multiplied his problem with his own follies. He was addicted of the opium and lacked military ability. His father had failed to crush the power of the Afghan for good. Thus, Humayun was defeated by an Afghan whose name was Sher Shah Suri in the Battle of Chausa in 1539, and also later in the Battle of Kannauj in 1540, and forced to leave the India and take refuge in the Iran in 1540. After 15 years, Humayun defeated Sikandar Suri, a weak successor of Sher Shah Suri, and restored the Mughal Empire in India once again. Unfortunately, he died after sleeping from the stem of library building at Delhi. And after the Humayun death, the throne was succeeded by his son Akbar. Abul Fateh Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, popularly known as Akbar, which literally means the Great. He born on 14 October 1542, also known as Akbar or the Great Akbar. The task of consolidating the Mughal kingdom was left to Akbar, who was only 14-year old at that time of his accession. Because Akbar was a mere boy, Behram Khan, an able administrator, was appointed regent to look after the government until Akbar was able to do so himself. The position of the Mughal was not very strong in India at that time, and Hemu Vikramaditya had defeated the Mughal and captured the Delhi and Agra. So, another battle was fought at Panipat, the second battle of the Panipat in 1556, in between Hemu and the Akbar. In this battle, Hemu was defeated and Akbar reoccupied Delhi and Agra, which the Mughal had lost. Now, once again, Mughal power was being re established in the northern India. When Akbar came of age, he decided to end the regency of the Behram Khan and took over the government. Under Akbar, the Mughal Empire stretched from Kashmir in the north to Godavari River in the south, and from Afghanistan in the West Bengal in the east. Akbar also conquered Gondwana, Chittor, Ranthambore, Bihar, Bengal, Kabul, Kashmir, Sindh, Deccan, and Gujarat. Beside this, Akbar also showed great interest in all the religion and follow a liberal policy. He believed that every religion lead to the same and and wanted to find a way which could be common to all religion. So he finally suggested a new religion, a path later called the Deen Ilahi, which means divine faith. He also set up a Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri, where religion discussions were held every Friday evening. And in 1582, he started Deen Illahi by blending the good point of all the religion, like Hindus, Christianity, Jainism, and other faith with Islam. Deen Illahi was not a religion but a social religion part to bridge the differences among different communities. In Akbar Court, there were the nine gems. Akbar Court was filled with talented men known as nine gems of or the Navratna. They were Birbal, Abu Fazl, Fezi, Tansen, Raja Todermal, Raja Man Singh, Abdul Rahim Khane Khana, Fakir Azuddin, and Mullah Do Pyaja. So they all are the nine gems in the court of Akbar. And Akbar died in 1605 and he was buried at Sikandra, 6 miles from Agra. After the death of Akbar, Prince Selim ascended the throne under the title Jahangir. So Nuruddin Muhammad Selim, known by his empire name Jahangir, was born on 30 August 1569, was the fourth Mughal emperor who ruled from 1605 until the death of 1627. In 1606, Jahangir's son Prince Khusro escaped from Agra. Jahangir followed and defeated him at the Battle of the Berawal, and as many nobles were trying to make Khusro the emperor in the place of the Jahangir. Jahangir consolidated his territories and developed the administrative system that was introduced by his father. Jahangir was married the Shah Begum, a princess from Amber, who killed herself in 1605 out of the shame of the rebellion of her son Prince Khusro. The court of culture of the Mughal flourished under the Jahangir rule. He had keen interest in gardens. Mughal painting reached its zenith during his time, and he married Nur Jahan, the light of the world. Jahangir was famous for his justice. He set up a chain of justice with 60 bells attached to it. It was made of pure gold. One end was attached to the Fort Agra and the other to the stone column on the bank river Yamuna. Anyone who wanted the justice could pull the chain to draw the attention of the emperor. Jahangir also issued 12 ordinances for the better governance of the country. Jahangir also wrote his autobiography, which is known as Tujhke Jahangiri, the memory of the Jahangir. Jahangir died in 1627 due to the excessive drinking, and his son Shah Jahan succeeded his throne. Shah Jahan was born on 5th January 1594 and he was the fifth Mughal emperor of India. He is known as Shah Jahan I. He assumed the Mughal throne on 24th January 1628 in Agra, a few days after the death of the Jahangir. The Mughal emperor reached its greatest prosperity during the reign of the Shah Jahan. His ministers were efficient and able, and he was an orthodox Muslim, but was fair to the non Muslim. He increased the magnificence of the court, the peacock throne, the Taj Mahal at the Agra, the Red Fort in Delhi, and the Jama Masjid in Delhi, and the others numerous work of the art and architecture testify his wealth as well as his aesthetic sense. He is known as the Engineer King, and he was also an excellent calligraphist. He gave patronage to the scholar, artisan, and craftsman. Poetry, music, painting, dance, astronomy, mathematics, and the medicine flourished under his this intelligence emperor. In September 1657, Shah Jahan fell ill. Immediately, his son started making preparation for capturing the throne. In 1658, Aurangzeb took over the throne and imprisoned his father, who died in captivity in 1666. So, Aurangzeb, Emperor Shah Jahan's sixth son, was born on 24th October 1618 at Doab in Madhya Pradesh and wrested India crown from his father before the end of the June 1658 after defeating his brother Prince Dara Shikoh armies. Dara Shikoh, the eldest son of the Shah Jahan, was the resident of the Shah Jahan court at the designated heir. Shuja was Guan of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Aurangzeb governed the Deccan, and the Murad was governed the Gujarat and Malwa. After capturing Agra, Aurangzeb crowned himself as the emperor. He assumed the title of Alamgir. He abolished the inland duties and octroi to please his subjects. He was a Muslim fanatic and opposed religion tolerance. He discontinued the practice of inscribing the kalima on the coins and abolishing the celebration of the New Year days. The rule was His rule was a period of ceaseless war in different parts of India. The revolt of Rajput proved very harmful for him. The Maratha had become very powerful under Shivaji. Aurangzeb sent Shaista Khan, the governor of the Bengal, to fight against Shivaji, but the Shaista Khan was defeated. Aurangzeb invited Shivaji to Agra for talk where he was imprisoned. Shivaji somehow managed to escape from the prison. Aurangzeb also killed Guru Tegh Bahadur, whose son Guru Gobind Singh fought the Mughals till Aurangzeb's death in 1707. Aurangzeb conquered Bijapur and Golconda in Deccan, but due to his short-sighted policies, his vast empire went out of his grip. Many governors revolted against the emperor and established themselves an independent ruler. Though Mughal empire survived till 1857, its rulers were the prisoner of the East, pensioner of the East India Company after 1830. The last Emperor Bahadur Shah Jafar II had faced the trial for leading the mutiny of 1857 and he was convicted as exiled to the Rangoon. So Bahadur Shah Jafar II was the last ruler of the Mughal emperor and he died on November 7, 1862 in Rangoon, British India, now in Burma. That's it. Today we will discuss only this one. In next video we will discuss about the governance under the Mughal Empire. So thank you and have a good day to all of you.